I'm okay. I took some of your water. Thank you. So we begin with our opening aspiration. And we will do our usual Sunday alternation between silence and sounding home, home. And we'll also take a little time before we close to review the practice that we just did and hear any questions or thoughts you might have about it. So, this is our aspiration. May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings always be pain-free and live happily. May no beings ever cling to those near nor spurn those far. For as long as space abides, as long as the world remains, just so long may I be there, resolving all beings' pain. Rigzin Om Shri Gingi Porone, Jason Sangi Gungi Oni, Rang Sentring Sundanjave, Sawe Lama Shabla Sawad. That was our invocation for all of us. So once again, allow yourself to feel the support. It's good to feel support. We feel so often in life we're just hanging on a limb by our fingernails and nothing solid underneath us. So take this moment to feel there's something solid underneath you that you can relax into. The body can translate this feeling of physical support to a sense of emotional support, and that's very helpful to us. You're seated directly above the center of the earth, after all. There's a lot holding you. You can let go of some of the burden of holding. Just let your upper body rise up as actually the human body wants to do. Have your back be long, upright, not stiff, not straight. There are curves in it. And your chin tucked in just a little bit. That helps you be aware of the central corridor down the center of your body. And that and your skeleton are also supporting you. Your skeletal structure. The alignment, the natural alignment through the center of your body is a very subtle and powerful support. Namgyal Rinpoche used to say, this is the source of your energy. This is an important place for us to take support from. And let yourself settle. There's no doing in settling. Settling is just allowing. We get used to giving up this idea that we're in charge. We are in a practice of discipline, but settling happens of its own accord, just by our not getting in the way. And realization arises in the same manner, ultimately. And as you settle, you may find that your belly also becomes a little more relaxed. You can feel the breath coming in. Let your attention be with your breath. Your attention is riding your breath, aware of your breath, feeling. Just feeling your breath, that's all. Just feel your breath as it enters, descends into your body. Maybe your belly puffs out a little bit, receiving that energy. You know how to breathe, so you're very comfortable. We'll spend a few minutes just with your attention, enjoying the feeling of breathing, the refreshment, the energy, the natural relaxation with the out breath. That's what relaxation is. And sometimes your mind will wander elsewhere. That's very natural, very common, no big deal. And once you notice that that's occurred, just bring it back and start again. There's no penalty fee. Breath is always waiting for your attention. So we'll do this for a few minutes. Coming back to your breath again and again, staying with it as much as you're able. No self-criticism, just enjoying. So meditation on breath is one way to cultivate stability and attention. And equally helpful in our tradition is to use sound. In this case, the sound of your own voice. So we alternate silent meditation with sounding the sacred syllable Hung. Hung is the sound of the awakened mind. It's a very powerful seed syllable in many practices. In this practice, we simply sound it at your own pace. Everyone breathes at your own comfortable pace. 2 hongs for each. Like that. And sing out, sing loud, because you're sending energy into the room. And we love to hear you too online. In fact, if you'd like to unmute, we don't have to sing it as a chorus. Everyone sing it at your own pace. Sacred syllable, sound filling the air. Feeling as much as rise for you, feeling that your mind is one with the sound, actually. Sound is in your mind is in the sound. A little taste of non-duality. Okay, we'll do this. I'll ring the bell. We'll do it for a few minutes and get the feel of it. Sing out, please. Feel free to unmute. And back to your deep seat and attention to your breath. If you're feeling sleepy, you can take a quick breath for a minute, look around a little bit. If you're feeling too jazzed up, keep your focus low in the room and enjoy your breath. And again, sounding home, home, and letting your attention be with that. Mind and sound completely mixed together. Mind, sound, and energy together. And back to our breath for a minute or two.
would be okay. That might be, but otherwise not too much.
Yeah. So how does that affect you? Does it affect you moving between sound and silence, breath and hum? How is it?
I actually really like the vibration. Oh, it's
What,
Annie.
wait,
It's
who's,
Annie online.
Annie,
oh, hi, Annie. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. I really like, I don't want to be attached to it, but I love the vibration. It reminds me of, when I used to go to the sauna, you would do the cold and hot. And I would love going from hot to cold because then it would make all your blood would rush through your veins and you'd feel that
Uh-huh.
vibration. It's similar to that.
I see.
Yeah, I feel
Thank
that
you.
vibration.
The vibration, yeah. And it's okay to love something like that, to enjoy it, you might say. All joy is not attachment. It can turn into it, but you can enjoy it. It's nice to know that you did. Yeah, there's something about living in a larger spectrum, between sound and silence, hot and cold. Thank you.
so we are
Anything else?
passing around a book for those of you who are relatively new. The book is for, at the end of our service, we dedicate the merit of our practice together to those in need, those who have passed, those who are in our minds.
You can include yourself. We'll read the names aloud. And those of you online, as you know, we welcome you to put them in the chat. And Shane will catch your names there. Because we're practicing for all those people. Yeah. Anything else? Those of you who've done it for a while, does it change? Yeah. Oh, do we have a microphone for Soa? Thank you. Obstacle course.
It is always hard for me to leave the hum space. I want to stay there longer, and it's hard for me to really come back to meditation. I just enjoy the sensations, the vibrations, just a deliciousness.
Yeah. When you do it yourself, you can do it for as long as you like. Yeah. Hard to leave the home. Sounds like a bumper sticker. It's hard to leave the home. Yeah? Anything else? Yeah, so as most of you know, but some of you don't, we do this practice because I did once have the opportunity to ask Gazen Rinpoche, we do these meditations on Sunday, a lot of different kinds of people come, some very new, some not so new. What can we do where people will hopefully feel something? And this was his suggestion, actually, to alternate between the silent sitting of the breath and the sacred syllable hum, which actually contains, from our perspective, a lot of grace, a lot of blessings, Shinlap, waves of grace, waves. As you say, energy. It's a kind of energy. And traditionally, it's the energy of awakened mind. So if you like it, Annie, and you like it, so it's okay. And it has a place, as you know, in many of our practices. There's a hum, a seed syllable. Yeah. So as we've been saying, there are different types of meditations. And as you know, usually in this interim period in the middle of our hour of meditation, we read a chapter. We've been reading from Pema Chodron, very wonderful meditation instructions. And we just conferred a little bit here and felt that today would be good to focus on, we're offering to set up a meditation period, a 49-day self-paced meditation. Those of you who've been around for a while, we used to do this at Losar. We did it once for 100 days. We used to gather for 2 weeks, but
Tibetan New Year's.
Tibetan New Year's. And yeah, so I just want to invite you to this because both the love and the impermanence are really significant in the life of a practitioner, in life in general. And we ourselves were exposed to this when we were in Charlottesville. Lati Rinpoche came, who was always very close to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and towards the end of his life actually was promoted to a junior tutor of the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama selected him to come to University of Virginia, and he stayed for a year and a half. And we lived together and ate together, and it was really wonderful. And he taught this to the public, some church like us. There was a church, and we gathered off campus. And like we are doing now, once a week, he would give a new instruction. Very simple instruction, like you've already had, but we'll talk about it a little more. One of these 9 aspects that can bring home the inevitability, the unpredictability of death, and also, very significant, most significant perhaps, is to, okay, my time is limited. What is really important to me? And do I spend my life on what is really important? And many of us, maybe most of us, maybe all of us, discover that we really don't. We have jobs that are important, but is that what we want to be with only, when we come to die? So over the course of this meditation, these 9 meditations that we will do over these 7 weeks, there's certainly an opportunity, and the last 3 weeks are really reflecting what is valuable for us, for you in your life. We're so busy running with our, I don't want to use that metaphor, but running, just running. You just stop. We talked about Angulimala, stopping. We want to stop, at least sometimes, and reflect. What will help you at that inevitable difficulty that will arise? What will help others? Maybe you will be able to help others. We've done, for those who've been around, we've done Shitro, calm and fierce deity practice. We're going to do Poa, which is a major practice for what one can do at the time of death for oneself and for another. We do that in May. We'll have a 1-week Poa retreat this year. There's also just preparing oneself by recognizing and really making conscious this inevitability that we tend to push out of our minds. And to do so in a very gentle way. You're not meant to freak yourself out, right? This is just truth. By alternating between reflecting on the words, on the meaning, on what they mean to you, bringing to mind, maybe you think of the waves crashing to the shore. Maybe you recall how your own body is changing. So we did this with Ladi Rinpoche for, as I said, 9 weeks. And, we were new. Well, we had been in India for a year and a half, Namgyal for 2 years. And, we were kind of familiar with things. We read some Shantideva, but we were really very new. And okay, how's this going to be? Am I really realizing permanence? And as the years and decades have gone by, I think it's very hard, actually, to really get it when you're young, especially. I mean, you get it with your actual mind, but you feel so alive and so secure in your body and energy. And, I knew I wasn't. I did the meditation, a little bit every day, which is all that we're asking you to do. And what I have felt since then is that, I didn't really. I mean, I'm still getting it. We do Ngandra, we meditated on impermanence every day because we recognize that, simple as it is not easy to really integrate into how we understand life. But I've always felt that somehow, even though I didn't really make a lot of progress in understanding impermanence and my own mortality, somehow it laid a ground so that I know it's important to reflect on. I try to reflect on it. I try to remember, what's really important to me, which has a lot to do actually with the values, the traditional values, of kindness and the wisdom of knowing change, the wisdom of knowing that in another way that we actually all do have a capacity for awakening, and that awakening is actually part of our nature and part of our being right now. So we felt it was important and wanted to share with you. We have done this occasionally to some degree, but I don't think we've done a self-paced retreat for 7 weeks, because 49 days is a traditional amount of time. And we will talk about it on each of the, again, on first Sunday in April, but in between, because our Teaching Tuesdays are also, in our Teaching Tuesdays, we have also introduced this, because to understand the Four Noble Truths, the first truth is the truth of unsatisfactoriness. And that doesn't mean we go around glum. Buddha doesn't look glum. Buddha, he's not up yet. I don't know, yeah, he doesn't look freaked out about death, right? It's not to bring us down, it's to open our hearts to compassion. Everybody is in the same situation. And that's an important recognition too. We have heard the story of Kisa Gotami, some of us, also in these Teaching Tuesday series. She was so bewildered and distraught by the death of her child. Of course, one of the most painful things in a human life is to lose one's child. And in following the Buddha's instruction to bring a mustard seed from a household where no one had died, she came to the realization, has anybody died? Before I take your mustard seed, has anybody died in your household? And of course, there was no household where nobody had died, just as I'm sure there is no one here who doesn't know anybody, hasn't been related to someone who has died. It's a common human experience. And to recognize that everyone encounters this is also quite an important aspect of this recognition. So on our Teaching Tuesdays, we will also, probably at the beginning of the session, spend a little time on offering the next topic so that you will get it. And Emily has kindly agreed she will clip it. If you're not coming to Teaching Tuesdays, which of course we welcome you to do and encourage, it's really a good education. I may ask you in a moment, Rigzin Sheriff Gasso, to say a little bit about that. There will be a 10 or 12 minute new instruction. Teaching Tuesdays are the first and third Tuesdays, 7 to
Yes.
8:30. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Emily will clip that out. So there will be a page that you can go to for this self-paced retreat. And our aspiration is that you will do this, even if it's just for a few minutes each day for 49 days, and then you will have done it. And you will always have it there in your pocket, so to speak. And it will come up again and again in your life and in your life as a Buddhist student, Buddhist practitioner.
Matthias has his hand up.
Matthias, your hand is up? Is that intentional? Was it intentional?
Unintentionally.
What?
Unintentional.
Unintentional. Okay, well, nice to see your face anyway.
Annie has her hand up.
Annie again, and then Charlie, just a second.
Right there. So when we do the self meditation, do we do the hong as well with that?
Please do it at home.
No, I mean, do we do the
What?
silent and then the hong and then the
Oh,
silent?
please take it home.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a portable meditation. I understand. Yes, yes, absolutely. Sing out, hong hong. Really, and depending on how elaborate you like to feel the import of what you're doing is, first of all, you're doing it for all sentient beings, even just to think that for a moment before you start. This is for everyone. And sing it out as long as you like, but keep it fresh. Maybe not, Lama Tenzin always reminds us, meditation should be fresh. Don't drag it out because your superego says you got to sit there for an hour or something like that. Don't back down to your superego. keep it fresh. So it's actually very, very powerful, at least for me, to alternate. The sounds even more when you've been in silence, and the silence is even stronger. Anyway, I'm glad you asked, Annie. Absolutely. These meditations that we share with you are definitely for you to take home. Yeah. Thanks. Charlie.
I'm confused by something I thought I heard. On Friday, we celebrated Losar, which is the beginning of the new year.
That's right.
And I thought you said that on March 14th, no, must have been
That
April
is,
4th,
is the first full moon of
the
the new
first
year.
full moon
And this is a particularly potent period for practice, we are told.
of, so the new year doesn't begin on the full moon, it began on the
It
new
began Friday night. We
Friday
were,
night.
yes, right.
Okay.
It's the new moon. It begins with the new moon.
Thank you.
And then the moon is growing, and our practice growing. In general, it's considered a fruitful time between the new and the full moon. I think even farmers pay attention to that. Seeds that are planted then grow better. So these first 2 weeks are really, this is a really good time to get a good imprint for this practice. And that can continue. You're not going to give to you.
Very quickly, very quickly. Oh, the pronunciation of hung, I do it twice during
Okay.
my reading, right?
Yeah?
But I hear variations around me. So
Probably.
I don't know, could you explain to me, I don't know if my energy is going to be different if I do it differently, or is it?
Do it the way it's comfortable for you. So some people want to hold the breath a long time,
It
and they
should
go,
be Hoong, hung.
yeah,
So there's a kind of a stop at the end, hung. There's a stop, there's a kind of,
but in the
Contraction.
meantime, it just kind of really goes,
Hung.
as Kempo Yeshe emphasized, right?
Yes.
It's not hung, it's hung for as long as that, and then it's kind of the glottal. The Sanskritist will tell us it's right. It's a glottal stop or something like
anybody will tell you, it's,
that.
the
No,
back
not
of your
anybody.
throat is
Only
closing.
you. Only you tell us.
Hung.
Yeah. Go ahead, Claire.
I just wanted to clarify this because I have gotten on fights in the internet about this with people.
Oh, don't fight on the internet about this, please.
So, like, often you'll see hung spelled H-U-M with a dot under
Right.
it, and people think you're supposed to say hum,
They do.
but that dot under it is why Harvey is saying it's hung. So if you see H-U-M, like, if that's the confusion, I just wanted to clarify that because we're not on the internet. So
Okay, so here it goes. Om. It's not ong, it's om. So it's spelled the same way. There's an M with a dot. And so om is a soft M, but the oral teaching is hung is an NG sound. And that's just, let's say it's our tradition, okay? You don't have to get into fights on the internet.
And especially because the hung with a dot under it is technically the way to transliterate the Sanskrit. However, it's not the way we pronounce it. And also, Kempo Yeshe, Kempo Gyurme Gatso in our family, who is coming in May, really emphasized to us, he was helping us review some of our practice texts, that he preferred, and now we do in our phoneticization of hung, to phoneticize it with H-U-N-G, so it won't be this hum or hum that really, and I think this was Alto Rinpoche's intention also in us doing this practice and chanting hung. There are a lot of, some of the most profound practices in the tradition are around hung, so you're also getting, used to that, is to sound it long, and then close it as discussed. Okay, hung hung. Hung hung. Would you like to say something, Gyurme Gatso? I mean, not Gyurme Rigzin, Sheriff Gatso.
Sure, I might just briefly. Maybe I'll share two thoughts, and that's just to reiterate or emphasize two things that you said, Lama Rigzin. The first is that, at least for me, it always feels important to remember that reflecting on impermanence in general, so the inevitability of our death, the fact that everyone will die, that at every moment, every one of us is standing into the horizon of our own death, that if we really kind of follow that practice, it isn't just a matter of recognizing that inevitably and hopefully very long from now, every one of us will die, but that in every moment, there's always there are things within our experience that come into being and pass out of being, that there are these like momentary deaths, you might say, that we experience. And then at that level of the practice, if we follow that level of the practice, and this is maybe to get ahead of our skis a little, that in our tradition, at least, where that is meant to lead us is to the recognition of what in our experience does not die. So the recognition of death and the recognition of impermanence is not really the final word. It isn't just that we're meant to recognize that everything is impermanent, every one of us will die, and we just have to get used to that fact. For our tradition in particular, it's that when we recognize everything in our experience that does die, that is subject to impermanence, it eventually leads us to recognize or to discover what it is that does not die, which is our true nature. And at least for me, that can be helpful because this practice can be kind of challenging, I think. Um, and maybe the other is that because this practice, especially when we think about, at least for me, let's say the inevitable deaths of those close to us, because this can be challenging and as Lama Namgyal often says, a healthy bit of denial about this in our daily lives is probably a good thing. Otherwise, it would be difficult to function, right? But in the tradition, for example, in this text by Tsongkhapa, where he lays out these 9 practices, there's always a point that's made at some point about how the purpose of this practice is to inspire you to practice. So again, just to reiterate, it's not that you're meant to be glum and even depressed about the fact that every one of us will die, but it's meant to be an aid to practice. It's meant to encourage you to, at the very least, set aside a few minutes every day to devote to practice. And so it seems to me that in whichever way you can do that for yourself, like maybe not reflecting on death can be helpful, but whatever it is that encourages you or helps you to find a few minutes every day to devote to Dharma practice, that is what this practice is meant to do. So you can be, I think, kind of creative and kind to yourself in finding ways to remind yourself about how important it is to find a few minutes every day to practice, because that's what this meditation on death is really meant to do, is to encourage you to practice, not to make you obsessed with the fact that every one of us has to die.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. Exactly right. What will prepare us to meet our death in the best way? What is the best way? With calm, and actually also with some kind of wholesomeness in our hearts, aspiring for other beings to live well, for example. Very important. It will make a big difference. A longtime practitioner, a longtime Dharma brother of ours died recently, and he did die that way. He was deeply committed to practice last 4 decades of his life, Dennis, and people visited him. We talked to him. He had a diagnosis. He knew, he had about a month. I mean, he knew it was coming. It was not totally sudden. And he really was inspiring to everyone. He was totally calm. He said, I'm ready to go. It's okay. I've given away everything. I told us who he gave what to, and, his brother, his friend, his house, his money. I'm happy they're going to have it. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't squirming. He wasn't protesting. So, as Rigzin Shaver is saying, yeah, we're preparing. Like Milarepa, we're preparing. And it's going to take preparation. So we invite you to do a practice. It can be a few minutes, but those are minutes that are sacred and special. And maybe we'll close with just, if you have questions, we'll still be around for lunch. So how can you do this? You could decide that in the morning before you get out of bed, whatever works for you, you sit up and take a few minutes. Maybe you already have a meditation schedule, make that part of your meditation schedule. Or maybe it's easier for you to do at night, just a few minutes before you go to bed, just sit and reflect. And we pray that this will be of benefit. It's not meant to be like paying taxes, as Ajahn Chokpa says, right? It's for your benefit, to come alive, to reflect on how you want to spend your life. We don't get to control that fully, but you can live closer to, most of us can find a way to live a little closer to what's really important to us. And as Rigzin Sherpa is saying, gradually will become more important over these 7 weeks is the awareness of what doesn't die. And our wish to be clear about that at the time when the rest of us does die. Let's take we'll do this as a 2-minute meditation right now, all complete. May this be of benefit to myself and others. Say it in your own words. You don't even have to use words, but have that intention. Death is definite. There is no way to avoid it. It will come. And I want to recognize and I want to live in recognition that it will come. Everything of me won't die, but what I mainly identify right now with will. No more youth, no more strength, no more laughing with friends, no more friends. How will I be prepared to meet that moment? May I prepare. And may all beings who, like me, don't want to suffer, may they too die well, with ease. May this practice bring them benefit. May we realize this deeply in 49 days, through 49 days, touching into it every day. So we'll close, we dedicate now, as is our custom, our whole session for all beings. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground, that means the ground of awakening. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom, shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. Can you reach it there? And may our practice benefit all beings throughout space, and especially today. Dennis Rose, whom I just mentioned to you, in the Bardo, Michelle Hunter, Camachos, Andrew, Lou, Ben, Monica, Danny, Chalok, Gary, Jamie, Cynthia Redhead, Thomas Kelly, Melissa McIntyre, Randy, Rebecca, Karen K, Connie B, all Ukrainians. Robin, Rick, Mark S, John Shear in the Bardo, Martin Patrick in the Bardo, Judy, Abel, Leah, Aaron, Dolan's grandfather in the Bardo, Gigu, Brad in the Bardo, Putka family, Alicia, Janet, Sunam, Jay, Greg Morris, Dana Crawford in the Bardo, Haro, fear of losing government job, Clive Kilif in the Bardo, Joanne, Sherry, Zoe, Som, Mike Gonzalez, Liz Breuer, Joanne, Sharon, and all living beings. And if you'd like to unmute, it's our custom to close, feeling that we are sending our good wishes to ourselves in the future, to everyone here, to all beings throughout space, with the light and sound of ah coming forth from your heart, feeling that ah is sending out light and sound everywhere. That's our dedication. Thank you so much. And if we don't have your email, leave it here for us, please, so that we can send you the link for the practice. You have something to say, Miss Emily?
Sure does.
She has a lot to say.
So we have a lot of exciting things coming up. This Tuesday, continue.
Start with the welcome event.
Oh yeah, today in just an hour,
Can you be on camera?
we have a welcome event. Uh-oh. So this is a great time to ask our Lamas questions. And it's after the lunch. And so you just hang out here with us.
For online people at 1 p.m., correct?
Yes, online people, 1 p.m. Central. This weekend, we have a Dzogchen Cycles Guru Yoga Retreat. And I'll let Ann and Harvey talk about that a little bit. The Teaching Tuesday series continues on first and third Tuesdays, online and in person at 7 p.m. Central. Saturday and Sunday, the 29th and 30th, we have an online retreat with Lama Tenzin Sambel. He's going to continue the Mipam practice of movement, stillness, and awareness.
Yep, Negyurik, Mind of Right Now, we have also called it for popular consumption.
Yes, and then coming in May, we have two major retreats. May 12th through 18th, we will have a week-long POA retreat. It includes teaching and practice. And then the 19th through the 23rd, we have a guest teacher. We have a guest teacher, Kempo Yeshi, teaching the ground path.
Here, do you want to use this, Emily?
Yeah. Teaching the ground path and fruition prayer for five days. He is in person. This is a really excellent opportunity. That is May 19th through 23rd.
Thank you. He is he would never say this, but he's actually we feel, a great Dzogchen practitioner. He did 3-year retreat under Tuku Ugyen. He walked out of Tibet about 20 years ago. And we have been reading with him privately for quite a while and really have wanted to invite him in person. So the Guru Yoga Retreat, this is from Jigme Lingpa's Ngondro foundational practices, and there are a number of people who are learning the Ngondro now, so this is very much for you, and also because Guru Yoga is the central practice of Tantra and Dzogchen, and in our tradition, it's Guru Rinpoche who's the central figure, but all the Tibetan traditions practice Guru Yoga. It's a way, it's the path of uniting with the awakened mind of the lineage. And that's what we seek to do. So if you're interested, you're welcome, and fill out the information form for Dzogchen cycles. You just want to make sure that you have enough background to, you don't need a lot of background, but we want to know that, feel that you'll feel comfortable in the retreat. You're certainly welcome. And there's still time if you want to fill that out and give it to us. We'll get right back to you. All right then. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rigzin Chair Gyatso. Thank you, Shane and Emily and Candace and Jerry, and all of you for coming and all of you for joining. We hope we see you at 1 o'clock so we can welcome you again and learn a little bit more about what you might like to participate in as part of Dawn Mountain. Good day. Happy New Year.
Take care,
Practice.
everybody.
Happy
Great to
Losar.
see you all.
Right now we have lunch.
For those of you who are present.
If you're
lunch.
here, there's lunch. We don't yet know how to send it through the internet. Sorry.
Take care, everybody.
Ciao.
Thank you.